Why are you crying and laughing at the same time?
Because you're the only person I know that would do something like this.
Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 20 series finales that made us happy cry.
I guess this is it.
Right.
For this list, we're looking at the TV shows that provided us with the most heartwarming final episodes. Grab your tissues for this one, and it goes without saying that a spoiler alert is in effect. Let us know in the comments which series finale had you shedding a tear at the roll of the credits. Number 20, One Flew Out of the Cuckoo's Nest, The Golden Girls.
I mean, what can you say about 7 years of fights and laughter, secrets, cheesecake?
This show gave us endless laughs and heartwarming scenes through its 7-season run. So when the finale came around, we were prepared for a healthy dose of funny and touching final moments between the girls. The series ends with Dorothy getting married and moving out. After a few tries to make her exit, the tears wouldn't stop flowing for them or for us. This wasn't really the end for Rose, Blanche, and Sophia, as they would go on to star in a 1-season spin-off called The Golden Palace. In any case, The Golden Girls finale was a turning point in the ladies' lives, and left us both hopeful for their futures and sad over their separation.
Your friendship was something I never expected at this point in my life, and I could never have asked for a better surprise.
Number 19, The Breakup, Psych.
I'm an adventurer now, with a friendship for the ages. And if I have to live in another city to make that happen, then so be it. That's the way it's gotta be.
Some of the best finales are the ones that are left open-ended, insinuating that the characters' stories will continue off-screen. This was the case for the final episode of Psych, which showed Gus and Sean moving the Psych office to San Francisco, as well as Juliet and Sean getting engaged.
Jules, will you marry us? Me, mostly me. Even though Gus is always going to be part of the deal.
With touching moment after touching moment to wrap up this beloved series, the final shot we see is the trio heading out on another case together. And just like that, we know their shenanigans will not be stopping anytime soon. While this wasn't really the end with spin-offs and the like, this series finale is one that was certainly bittersweet. Number 18, Forever Charmed. Charmed.
This is the way the battle was supposed to end all along. And it's over. Congratulations.
This supernatural TV show told the story of the good witches Prue, Phoebe, Piper, and Paige, and the finale wrapped up their stories perfectly. With Piper being the last remaining witch of the bunch, she works her magic to bring back Paige and Phoebe, and they all decide to document their stories for future generations to learn from. A montage of emotional flash-forwards reveals the fates of the witches, as they get married, have children, and pass on their knowledge.
I was suddenly so blessed to have a new family of my own, and old friends to share it with.
While the penultimate episode left us sobbing in sorrow, we were thrilled that the finale left us with tears of joy instead. Number 17, Goodnight Seattle, Frasier. The ending to this iconic sitcom saw every character finding happiness in their own way. Niles and Daphne welcome a baby boy as the family frantically plans a wedding for Martin and Ronnie. And with all of these big changes on the horizon, Frasier ponders his next move.
The only reason I'm leaving is because I want what all of you have now. A new chapter.
It appears as though he decides to go to San Francisco to take a new job, but surprises everyone by going to Chicago to be with his girlfriend instead. All of these happy moments had us reaching for the tissues, but Frasier's poignant and thought-provoking farewell speech on his radio show really got us in the feels, as it perfectly summed up the essence of the show.
Good night, Seattle.
Number 16, That 70s Finale, That 70s Show. While the 8th season of the show was underwhelming to say the least, the finale delivered in all of the best ways. Red and Kitty decide to stay in Point Place, Kelso returns to ring in the new year with his buddies, and Eric comes home from Africa.
I don't care where I live, as long as I'm with you.
Really?
Of course.
During the montage of Eric and Donna's relationship, our eyes welled up until we finally got to see them reunite for good, which is when the tears spilled over. The episode ends at the strike of midnight as the gang welcomes the new decade. And we couldn't be happier to see the group of 6 back together in one final circle to close out the 70s.
I knew you burnouts would be down here.
You guys, it's almost midnight. Mrs. Foreman is pouring the champagne.
Number 15, Dreams Come True, Glee. There was hardly a moment throughout the finale of Glee in which our noses were not touching our screens. The New Directions win nationals again, McKinley High becomes a school for the arts, and Sam becomes the leader of the Glee Club.
Wait, hold on. No, you're taking over the Glee Club?
Jealous? Yeah. I could not be more proud to pass the baton off to you.
In a 5-year flash forward, Rachel wins a Tony Award where she acknowledges the Glee Club and Mr. Shu for creating something special. Back in Lima, there was certainly not a dry eye in the house when the McKinley High Auditorium was renamed in honor of Finn.
I am honored to be here to rededicate this theater, the Finn Hudson Auditorium.
In the final scene, we get to see one last New Directions performance on the stage that hosted countless amazing shows throughout Glee's 6 seasons, and we can't imagine a more perfect ending. Number 14, White Orchids, The Mentalist. Throughout its 7-year run, there were many episodes that had viewers feeling devastated, so it was refreshing to see a happy ending when The Mentalist wrapped up. The episode kicks off with Jane proposing to Lisbon, and we see them prepare for their wedding day while still doing their jobs flawlessly.
We go to a restaurant, no big deal. It's not like we're hiring a caterer. We don't have a gift registry or anything.
Sure.
We also see the return of some characters from the show as they attend the wedding festivities. And it all closes out with the reveal of Lisbon's pregnancy. Even Jane himself couldn't have predicted how poignant the finale would be, as it left us all feeling delighted for the newlyweds and soon-to-be parents' new chapter.
Teresa.
Number 13, Finale, Modern Family. After 11 seasons on the air, viewers couldn't wait to see how the Dunphy-Pritchett crew would say goodbye.
I said I wasn't gonna cry.
And you're not.
Yeah, it's called strength.
Manny is going globetrotting, Mitch and Cam have a new baby, Alex is moving to Switzerland, Luke is going to the University of Oregon, and Haley and Dylan are set to move into Cam and Mitch's old place. All of the goodbyes are emotional, but the moment that had us choked up the most was the final group hug. No one wanted to let go, and neither did we.
Why is this so hard? We've done this like 7 times already today.
It's hard because not everybody gets to have what we had.
After over a decade of this family making us laugh, cry, and cringe, Jay's speech hits right in the feels. In the end, the light stays on at the Dunphys, a reminder that you can always return home no matter how far you go. Number 12, Everyone's Waiting, 6 Feet Under.
To Nate.
To Nate.
To my firstborn.
With a show that is insightful and bold as it's centered around death, we were not anticipating an enlightening and joyful series finale. While every episode starts with a death and tells the subsequent story that follows through the eyes of the funeral directors, the finale takes a different turn.
Go. Live. I'll unfreeze your trust fund. Take it and find whatever life has in store for you.
It shows us a montage of where every beloved character's lives will go after the end of the series, chronicling their lives right up until their final moments. This was a fitting ending for the show, and gave more closure than most other series finales, leaving no unanswered questions and a whole lot of emotion in its wake. Number 11, Whenever You're Ready, The Good Place. This fantasy comedy series was an emotional roller coaster from beginning to end, as it showed its viewers a different perspective of the concept of the afterlife.
You can sit on that bench as long as you want. Whenever you're ready, you just walk through.
The finale illustrated that mortality is something to embrace and can be a peaceful and beautiful thing. One by one, the main characters come to reach satisfaction with their time in the good place, and all of their exits are incredibly moving. Chidi's description of death as a wave returning to the ocean is enough to choke anyone up.
Then it crashes on the shore, and it's gone. But the water is still there.
We also get to see Michael live a life on Earth, which is particularly endearing. The show takes a fresh approach to the saying, all good things must come to an end, and we feel okay with it by the time they do. Number 10, Brave New World, Boy Meets World.
You're probably not gonna miss me at all, are you? Not one bit.
When we first met Corey, Sean, Topanga, and the rest of the gang, they were a group of awkward middle schoolers getting into scrapes and having fun. But Boy Meets World followed them into adulthood, running for 7 seasons and letting us grow up with them along the way. By the end of the series, our main characters are ready to move on from their lives in Philadelphia and make a big move to New York.
If there's one thing I've taught you is that there is a line between teacher and student that must never be crossed.
Tell us you love us.
The most important of their goodbyes comes when they bid farewell to Mr. Feeney, whom they ask for one last piece of advice before they go. when he tells them he loves them after they leave the classroom. Get ready for the waterworks.
I love you all. Class dismissed.
Number 9, the Stockholm Syndrome, The Big Bang Theory.
Ready?
Hang on. Go.
It takes something special for a sitcom to run for 12 seasons. And while it may have been divisive, you can't argue the fact that The Big Bang Theory certainly had a serious fan base. And there is a lot going on in the series finale, with Howard and Bernadette leaving their kids for the first time in order to travel to Sweden for the Nobel Prize ceremony. Penny has found out she's pregnant and wants to keep it a secret from the rest of the gang, but obviously fails.
I'm pregnant, Sheldon.
You're right, I can't catch that.
There are as many mishaps as always, but the touching moment comes when Sheldon gets up to thank his friends for all the support they've given him over the years, showing a side of him we've rarely seen before.
I'd like to ask them to stand.
Number 8, my finale, Scrubs.
And even though it felt warm and safe, I knew it had to end.
There aren't too many great medical comedies out there, but Scrubs paved the way, starting in the early aughts, for a hospital show that didn't have to take itself too seriously.
Let's face it, we said goodbye too early. I don't think I've got another hug in me.
Honest to God, I never thought I'd hear you say that.
How could I ever not want to hug you? Has the world gone mad?
Despite being lighthearted, there were still plenty of emotional moments, with the series finale giving us plenty to happy cry about. JD envisions his future, and we get to see what he sees. The flash forwards include marrying Elliot and her becoming pregnant, as well as a Christmas scene where we see many of our favorite characters reunite. Not only that, he also sees Sammy and Izzy getting engaged. And to make sure things don't get too serious, he falls over from the shock.
It's never good to live in the past too long. As for the future, thanks to Dan, it didn't seem so scary anymore.
Number 7, Chapter 100, Jane the Virgin.
When Jane Gloriana Villanueva was a much younger girl, she had to face the unthinkable.
What do you mean the telenovela's gonna end?
Well, they just revealed the last big secret.
The finale of Jane the Virgin features our romantic leads finally making things official. At Jane and Raphael's wedding, both are crying too much to get through their vows. So they simply swap papers and read them quietly to themselves and kiss before they were supposed to.
The first time we met, you told me to be brave.
We find out that Jane's son Mateo has been the narrator all along.
I practiced with great grandma. She said I would be great at voiceover work.
And for the record, I am.
And at the very end, Raphael asks Jane what happens at the end of her book, and she reveals that it's turned into a telenovela, giving a knowing wink to the audience.
So, I never asked you. What happens at the end of your book?
They make it into a telenovela.
Well, who'd want to watch that?
Number 6, Always, Friday Night Lights.
Dear Heavenly Father, keep us and protect us tonight.
Many have said that Coach Taylor and Tammy are one of the best and most realistic portrayals of a married couple on TV, and we get to tearfully marvel at them one last time in the series finale of Friday Night Lights. Coach is wrestling with a decision whether he'll continue his position on the team or follow Tammy to her new job in Philadelphia.
I turned the contract down. It's your turn. I want to go to Philadelphia.
Really, babe?
We get to see a montage of what happens 8 months afterwards, which includes a clear eyes, full hearts, can't lose sign being put up, and Eric trying to use the new phrase with his new team.
Clear eyes, full hearts.
Yeah, we'll deal with that later.
Number 5, I Done, The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Well, don't hide your emotions. Look, Carlton, I don't have no separation anxiety.
You might remember The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air for its oh-so-memorable theme song or for Will Smith's fly fashion sense, but it's easy to forget how deeply this show struck an emotional chord at various points throughout the series. In the final episode, the Banks family, who took Will in at the very beginning, decide to leave Los Angeles for good and put their house on the market. While Will is unsure if he's actually made any progress since moving to California, the audience can clearly see that he has.
I love you, Uncle Phil, and I just don't want to lose you, any of you.
You're not gonna lose us. You are my son, Will. End of story. You just better be sure that your bud is by a phone on Sunday.
He opts to stay and finish his degree, so he has to say goodbye to his adoptive family. And the moment he has with Uncle Phil has us grabbing for the tissues.
Sunday.
Sundays.
Number 4, Ingram Petersky, New Girl.
Nick and I are moving out of the loft.
At first, fans are led to believe that the New Girl finale is about one thing, but with a clever twist, it becomes about something else entirely.
We got an eviction notice. They're kicking us out in 24 hours.
It seems as though the gang is being evicted from the loft where so many of the events of the show took place, but it's eventually revealed that the eviction is just a prank from Winston.
Ingram Petersky. If you rearrange those letters, what does it spell?
My greatest prank.
My greatest prank!
But they decide to leave anyway, even though they aren't being forced to. We see them play one last game of True American, Packing Edition, which morphs into a vision of the future, when they're all playing with their children. The ending is just so touching when they leave the loft for one last time.
You ready?
Yeah,
let's go.
Number 3, One Last Ride, Parks and Recreation.
You ready, babe?
Yes. I'm ready.
The 7th and final season of Parks and Rec does a time jump to the year 2017, which was actually the future back when the episode aired in 2015. In the final episode, however, we jump forward even further, showing how all of the characters' lives evolve all the way up to the year 2048. In the furthest flash forward, we see Mr. Gergich's funeral after he died at the age of 100.
He will now be given the Indiana Notary Society's highest honor, the 21 Stamp Salute.
Ben and Leslie are of course in attendance, and they're accompanied by Secret Service agents, which leads us to assume that most likely Leslie finally achieved her goal of becoming president.
They spelled his name wrong on the tombstone.
Close enough.
It's time to go.
Number 2, finale, The Office.
Imagine going back and watching a tape of your life. You could see yourself change and make mistakes and grow up.
Considering how beloved it is, there's pretty much no way The Office could have ended that wouldn't have left us in happy tears. After watching the hapless employees of the Dunder Mifflin Scranton branch for 9 seasons, it's safe to say we were emotionally attached to them.
I now pronounce you man und wife.
The finale is especially evocative, considering the show had already experienced a decline after losing its star Steve Carell. But in the final episode, he returns to act as Dwight's best man at his wedding to Angela.
Michael has so many pictures of his kids, he had to get 2 phones with 2 numbers, and he pays 2 bills. He's just so happy to have a family plan.
The rest of the employees reminisce about their time at the office and express how grateful they are to the film crew who documented it all for them.
There's a lot of beauty in ordinary things. Isn't that kind of the point?
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1, the last one, Friends.
We got some time. Okay, should we get some coffee?
Sure. Where?
Friends has a purely happy ending, and yet it makes us cry harder than pretty much anything else. Ross and Rachel end up together.
No! No! Oh my God! Did she get off the plane? Did she get off the plane?
I got off the plane.
She got off the plane! Monica and Chandler find out they're actually going to become parents to twins at the very last moment.
Hey.
Hey.
Hey, so what is the big surprise?
Joey gets Monica and Chandler a chicken and duck as a misguided housewarming gift, and they get stuck in the foosball table, which he's forced to destroy. But the devastating part is seeing the apartment empty when they're about to leave, and the panning shot that shows their keys left behind. Luckily, we can watch it over and over again, so it's never really done. Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from MsMojo. And be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.